Hi everyone, and welcome to Delphi's How-To video series. I'm Dave Hobbs, Senior Trainer here at Delphi Product and Service Solutions. In this video, we're going to show you how to replace just the electric pump in a hanger-style fuel pump assembly. We always put safety first, so make sure that you're thorough and you're careful. Don't get in a hurry. Don't forget to wear safety glasses and gloves, have a fire extinguisher on hand, and work in a well-ventilated area away from anything that could have a flame or spark. It's always recommendable to replace an entire fuel pump sending unit assembly of the hanger style variety. However, once in a while, you get your back against the wall. They don't have the application available in stock of the complete hanger unit with all the hardware, the electrical connections, the sending unit, and so forth, as well as the pump. Or maybe price is an extreme consideration. So while not recommendable to do just the pump only, sometimes we know what happens, therefore we have applications just for that. I want to give you some tech tips real quick on how to do it. Now it's quite simple. Once you get the assembly out, you're drained, you've read directions that may be in the box or even on the box, you got safety glasses, safety gloves, we're going to go ahead and remove a secondary clip with a pair of cutters here, a little wire tie basically, and then we'll take the screw out that holds the pump to the hanger assembly. And that's a 7mm screw. And there we go. Put the hardware here. Just remove that. It kind of swings back. All my new parts in the box are laid out here in order. I'm going to take a pocket screwdriver. I'm going to depress that connector and pull that up. There we go. That's about all that's left holding this job in. So as I press down, pull back, there we go, get it out. Now, the main fuel feed line has got a permanent hose clamp, one that's been squeezed once. I gave up a little bit of the head of that hose clamp, came off, but still it's a little bit loose, but it's not prying off. So good news is Delphi kit came with the new replacement hose, a couple worm drive hose clamps. So what we're going to do, we're going to go up here and cut the top off because we got the new hose, but I want to be a little more careful with my sending unit arm and float. So a little tech tip here to be careful with it, a simple rubber band, maybe a little piece of the harness here, a little bit of spring action. It's out of my way. And now I can tilt this thing up a little bit and get a little better access to my hose. Now I'm gonna take a pocket knife, being very careful, not to cut myself. We'll do a little surgery on the hose. Careful not to cut into the plastic of the component of the hanger assembly. We got it. Now it's gonna come loose. Now I've got the pump removed. So pump, hose, and strainer. We'll set that aside, and now it's time for reassembly. While we got to this point, let's go ahead and take advantage of a lot of stuff being out of our way and remove and replace the seal that seals the sending unit assembly to either the side of the tank, keep fuel from dripping out, or the top of the tank to keep vapors from coming out. In either case, check engine light or a gas leak are a bad idea. So we got the new one here. Let's go ahead and use the new one. The old one, you may need to kind of pop it loose because it may be kind of sealed, stuck down, but we're going to kind of push it. There are guide pins. As you can look right here, they're like little Christmas trees that pop in and want to stay in on the back side. So that's what we're going to pop loose out of here, is work that way down across the hanger, out of our way, grab the new one. Might not be a bad idea to see if these things are polarized as far as mechanical position. And it looks like they are. And if they are the same ones, and they are the same ones, so we got to make sure we get the new one back into place of the old one. Let's clean up the flange if we need to. And it's looking pretty good, feeling pretty good. Don't want to put any new seal against a gritty surface. So work that way now back against carefully around the float. And it's only going to go one way because you want to be able to make sure you line up the little pilot holes that hold the seal on and the bolt holes, the screw holes to hold the assembly into the side of the tank. Make inspection. Okay, everything is there and it looks like it's going to stay in place. Now, while I'm focused on this area with you right now, I want to talk about some tech tips to help you prevent comebacks. A lot of pumps get sold complete hanger assemblies, modular units, you name it, and it's electrical issues all along, was never the pump. In this case, it would be a heartache to put a new pump in only to find out that it has a problem 6 months later, and you think it's another bad pump, but in reality, it's a connection issue. So what we want to do is give a bright light and magnifying glass if you can't see that well, but we want to look for any signs of discoloration where this rubber seal around these spade type connectors, a male and female here, where it's swelled, it's had discoloration from heating, and also obviously we want to make a little tugging here, make sure it doesn't feel loose. And you do the same thing at the ground connection, maybe even put your nut driver on there to snug that up, and look for any signs of brown, even tan, dark tan, discoloration of the white plastic connection. That indicates it's been hot due to a voltage drop, and that's going to result in not enough power to the pump and a drivability problem, maybe same as you had before. So you nip these in the bud. If your discoloration is down here, this connection is not replaceable. You get a hanger assembly whether you wanted to or not. But if it's got an issue here or here, we can fix that while we got it down and we're replacing the pump alone. Now, in some applications, our kit would have accommodations for a new connection if it was that type of connection instead of this type of connection with a little eyelet ground and a spade connection for your power. So we don't need that pigtail, but we have checked the old one of this style. Everything looks good. Let's put the pump in and reassemble. Well, in installing the rubber insulator or isolator on the bottom of the pump, we want to make sure the things line up. So you take your time and do a little inspection here. What we're going to do is we're going to look and see what's what. Now, I've got a little half moon shape right here at the bottom of the pump. As you look inside the rubber isolator here, I've got a half moon shape in the bottom of that one too, right about there. So what I want to do is make sure those go together in that spot, in that orientation, so everything lines up the way it was made. And I do believe I have it. All right, now, next thing you're going to do is you're going to put on the filter, the small, I think it's 10 micron filter, or the strainer, as it's sometimes called. So we've got it lined up, and in fact, you can look at the old pump as kind of a guide to how things are supposed to go. So we want to make sure we're getting ready to put on the strainer now onto the end of the pump with the isolator in place. So we're going to line up this little open star connection right here. That's going to be what's going to hold that strainer on the bottom of the pump with that pin right up there. But while that may look like a rubber O-ring or seal, it's actually another dust cover that we have to remove, there we go, in order for me to assemble these two pieces together. So let's go ahead and assemble them now. We're ready. And you'll hear it go click. There it went. So now we are ready with the strainer here in place, and we're going to mount the pump. Now, before we do that, let's go ahead and move our sending unit arm float assembly up and retape it. All right, so we're going to replace the hose, a little bit of silicone. Now, next thing I'll do, I'll reassemble with a new hose, and I will go ahead, I've lubricated that a little bit beforehand, and I will put my new worm drive hose clamp on. Now, they give you more hose than you need, which is better, way better than less hose than you need. There may be different applications that have a little longer hose. So we're going to snug that up nice and tight so we don't have any leaks, but not stripping that worm drive hose clamp. Let's go ahead and measure out. So what was the old and what is our new? As we kind of eye that out here, looks like we need to maybe cut right about there, as we have them pretty much shoulder to shoulder. We need to cut right about there. So I'll make a little score marks right here, and then I'll cut it. Be careful not to cut myself. All right, now we tighten it up here first for a reason. Give us a little leverage to shove it over the other end, because that's a little bit more of a barb fitting. It's going to be a bit more of a challenge. So let's go ahead and back that out. Put the new one on, shove her out of the way, and We're going to go in to the new fitting using the leverage of having that hose locked in place. Twist and twist until she seats out. There. Looks like she seated out. We'll know if it's the right length because it will pop just into place with the end of the hanger unit. Like so. Perfecto. All right. So now let's run our wires back where we found them. Make sure it's going to go in. It will. While we've got this kind of in place, tighten up that last hose clamp. I have to loosen it up a bit to get it to go over. There we go. Now you want to make sure you don't have any issues with any metal grounding against any metal. That's the whole point of the isolator. These pumps do vibrate a bit, normal, and the rubber isolates it. You don't hear it rattling in the tank. So we'll do the best job we can with our hose clamps, not having them ground out against anything that's going to be metal to metal. Get that one nice and tight. All right. Little bit of twisting. There we are. Okay. So it looks just like it did when we pulled it out, pretty much. No, exactly. It is an OE fit. That looks like all that's left is the electrical connector. Should just slide in and, oh, click. Oh, that sounded good. Alrighty. And a couple of mounts, the primary mount and then the backup wire tie. So we'll get that latched into place. Going to put that screw right into that bracket. There's my little pressure relief hose, 7mm. And we will get that to bite, take some threads, clamp that guy down. And the secondary, we'll pull that around. Nice and tight. Give it a little twist and a clip. There we go. We're all locked in place electrically, fuel-wise, and mechanically. Isolated. Here's an OE Delphi pump in place of the old one using the original hanger assembly. We're ready to go, except for one last thing. Let's not forget, we've got a rubber band holding this little float arm in place. We don't want the car showing full all the time. An accurate fuel gauge is a whole lot better than one on full all the time. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check out more of Delphi's how-to video series so that you can have more tips on saving money and saving time in your shop every day.